Good afternoon from Little Creek Bee Ranch. I seem to flub up the entries. What the heck, man? I get them all screwed up. Hey, I'm glad you're here. This is a cool lesson. This is another lesson we've been waiting a long time to do. This is about pressing wax. It's not so easy. It's frustrating. I say not so easy. It's frustrating. It may not be for everybody. You know, I like the challenge. I like doing it. So kind of what I'm going to do is make it a kind of a two-part video. It's kind of long. It's going to be kind of long, but that's okay. You'll learn. You'll learn. So what you see before you is kind of a staged process. On the far side, I'll just walk over and just kind of walk you through it because we're waiting for the wax to melt. So this is a roaster oven, and it's just got a whole bunch of wax in it. Some of it's solid. We're waiting on it to melt. It needs to get all melted. Oh, I want to say the temperature to get melted, it's got to be at least, it's 173 right now, and it'll get up to 180 to melt. Wax melts at 120, but we want it hotter so all the solids will get melted. And we use a little temperature gun. You know, you just shoot the temperature. I don't use a thermometer, nothing like that. Just a temperature gun. You know, you get a Harbor Freight or Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. Just shoot the temperature. So I need to know my temperature. That's very important. Have an air hose, because once the wax is pressed, we're going to blow it up off of the matrix or the panel, whatever you want to call it. Call it a matrix. So here's our mold. It just is a two-piece panel mold called the Latvia Wax Press. We get it on eBay. This is kind of a messy process. I'll have a towel kind of tucked in my pocket to wipe my hands. You'll end up having real soft hands after you kind of go through this whole process. But our mission is to press some wax foundation. It's got little hexagon patterns on it. This is kind of a hard plastic, it kind of gives. I don't want to say hard, it's just firm. It's got all the little reverse hexagons on it. We're using canola oil as kind of our release agent. We have a little 1-inch paintbrush. It's kind of gnarly. It kind of needs to be replaced, but it holds oil. So we'll just dip a little bit of oil, canola oil, and we'll just wipe it on a panel. Kind of good coverage. It's going to be our release agent. And there is very much tip or trick here to making all this work is these two panels are going to be different temperatures. Different temperatures. The bottom one will be hotter than the top one. The top one needs to be cooler than the bottom one. We're kind of going to walk you through. This is what we do. This is how I've pressed wax for a long time. I wished I had a fancier camera system like you could see down from above would be nicer. But we'll make it do. We'll do with what we got. Okay, kind of good coverage. That can just kind of sit there. And we have a tray. This is a overflow tray because we're going to gently shut the door and press out the wax. So down here in the tray, it needs to be oiled. And the face, this is the face. If I shut it, this is the face of the mold. Right there, it's got to be covered with oil. And we have a fan. It's just a little case fan, and it blows down and over and out. It's just a mild drift. It's like you can't hardly feel it. It's just to keep that panel cool. That's what we're trying to do, is keep this panel cool. I'll put my hand under here, and I'll periodically feel for how hot it is. If it gets too hot, I'll cool it off with compressed air. So we'll pour it up. Shut the lid, press out the excess. It'll fall in here. We'll give it maybe a minute, 2 minutes. It'll take a little bit of time to solidify. Then we'll pop it with a lever and pop the lid up. And we hope that the wax sheet will be here. Sometimes it will stick up top. This is like making pancakes. The first few pancakes you make are what we call for the dog. They're all screwed up. That's the way this works out. Maybe the first 4 or 5, depends upon the humidity, the temperature, the ambient temperature in the room. I think today's a pretty good day, so I think we may have some good pouring and some good sheets coming off right off the bat. So we'll see. It's going to be kind of loud, okay, because I have the compressor right here in the shop with me, and I can't take it outside. And so we will just have to deal with some of the loudness. The compressor will be going on and off. So this is my pressing tray, and over here I have my tool tray. This is the cup that I will dip the wax out of to pour on. It's just it comes with the press. This cup and this spatula come with the press. Okay. This pizza roller is ours. That's separate. That's a separate thing. So the trick is that we're going to use the cup to pour up the wax, but we don't want it sticking to the metal. That can be a problem, because then we got to either use a torch to melt it off. That's harder. But what I've learned to do is to wipe up the cup with canola oil really good. I'll get about 5 or 6 pours, because it will build up on the outside and the inside of the cup until I just have a little bit of room for wax. I'll take the air, cool it down, I'll slice off the top, and the wax will constrict with the cooler air, and I'll be able to slip those 2 pieces of wax out of that cup. That's pretty clever to watch that done. That's pretty cool. I'll take some canola oil and wipe my tray. When the sheet comes off, it'll be hot, and I'll just let it sit there and cool for a little bit. I'll take some more oil. I'll oil it up. I'll pour it up and press it. While it's cooling, I'll cut the sheet that I have here. So I have a board. This is a brood size piece of foundation, enough vertically that will fit up under the wedge, and I'll lay it down there and square it up and run off an extra piece, or be an extra piece left here, and I'll put it back in the hot pot. All right. Have the same thing for a medium size. We have behind the camera a medium pattern board that we use to measure for mediums. So today we're cutting at least 10 brood size foundations and about 30 mediums. We'll see how this works today and get through this. So there's a pizza roller. I'll just roll it off, and I'll take the sheet over behind the camera and stack it up, and then I'll make my tick marks. I track how many I have. A hive tool is for scraping off the face of all the extra wax. You got to cut it loose from the face. All this extra wax will solidify and build up in here. As it builds up and gets thick, this tray just slips out. It's got a little bolt. It just slips on the bolt, but it's oily, you know, because we've coated it in canola oil, because the wax is going to want to adhere to it, and we just want it to break free nice and easy. It's the concern. We don't want to have to scrape and burn, and don't do that. And it will go, we'll cut it, scrape it all out and put it in the hot pot, and we'll see how we do. My limitation is the temperature of the wax right now. That's what we're waiting on. If you think that you want to get into pressing your own foundation, that's cool. You can contact us and we'll tell you where we found the Latvia Wax Press. It has a weird name, and it's just easier if you contact us. I'll try to find it. I'll put it in the description below and stuff. Okay, so see, earlier the wax was all melted. It was great. 161. So I don't like that. I want it hotter. Okay. Okay, so that was kind of a quickie. It's a messy, kind of a messy project. You try to keep things clean. I use canola oil, so your hands are going to be really soft. When we start this process, we're concerned about the temperature of the plates. Right now, they're cool. So the first one out the gate, very seldom does it work. It may take me 3 pours. I will press it and wait, I don't know, a minute or two, and then I will unbutton it, see how it's done, and if it's all screwed up and torn, I'll just use the air hose and blow it out, to get the pieces together. I don't want to cut my mold, you know. I just have to gently work it off, get it back in the pot. Let's do it again. So this is not, you know, a 1-for-1 kind of thing. This takes some time to get used to, and then you get some wax spill over on the side. You'll get wax spill over, and you just kind of put it in your tray, and you just learn how to press wax on your own. For me, in my mind, I will save time and effort and money just by doing this myself, because I can make the sheets that I want to make. They're a little bit thicker than commercial sheets, which is fine. I like that. I will also save all of my wax, tailings and renderings, and I still don't have enough wax, so I will go to bulkapothecary.com and order a big 65-pound box of wax pearls. Oh, probably every 3 years. It lasts quite a while for me, just for bulk. It's very clean wax. I like it. Just for very clean wax. So, you know, you're kind of learning something new. If you're a new beekeeper, you're going, oh my gosh. Again, it depends upon what you like, you know. It may not be for you, but whatever. I like to be as sustainable as I can. So the roaster ovens, we have 2 of these. This is what we call our clean pot, although it doesn't look clean. The wax is clean. And on the floor in front, we have the dirty pot. It's got all the cocooned up, messy, dirty wax that we will heat up and clean through and wash that wax maybe 3 or 4 times and clean it. And when we got a clean block of wax, we'll bust it and put chunks in here to add to this. So we have a combination of a wax process, buying in a big box of pearls maybe every 3 years, and then processing our own wax to get a nice thick block of clean wax, and I will set it on the concrete and take a hammer and just tap a corner and get a chunk. I don't want to put a whole block in there at a time. Just take a hammer and pop it. It's brittle when it's cold. Put a piece in there. So we save all, you know, we save all of our wax, and I think that's real important. Wax is real expensive, you know. So I just don't want to always be dependent upon having to buy from the big bee supply houses. I would rather manage my own resources here and press what I need when I need it. So I try to, you know, if I'm in the pressing session, I will do more than what I need, so I have extra, you know, to use. I don't want to do this job for 5 sheets, you know. Normally, as I press, all the tailings and hard pieces will go back in the pot, so my liquid level will go down quickly, and my solids will build up fast, and then I'm out for the day. Because I got so much solid matter in here, it's not melting fast enough, and it can't be super hot to pour up. It needs to be about 150. So I'm limited just by solids in the roaster oven, and I'll get about 25, maybe 30 sheets for the day, and that's cool. Hey, you know, 25 or 30 sheets, and you shut it down and top off the roaster oven with more solid wax, and you do it again. So I don't know, maybe an hour, 2 hours, depending upon how it goes, and then I'm off to, you know, another project. But I just wanted to cover the tools. Our power source, we have a very high-tech power source. I don't know if you can do this. It's very complicated. It's a battery charger. that's plugged into the cord, and we just clip it on, and it's real simple. It doesn't need to be fancy. Doesn't need to be fancy, but this is, gosh, we've been doing this 6 years, I think now. Yeah, pretty coated with oil and stuff. So we're waiting, for temperatures to melt. So we're at 170 inside. There's a bunch of solid matter still down in there. Okay. Okay, so those are the tools and the process. And I'm going to cut this video off and make it a 2-part series. Because when I come back, it ought to be warm enough and we just go right to pouring out. Yeah? Okay, so it's a 2-part video. Hey, stay tuned. Check out the second half.